And then I'm going to equip it. Keep things on track. Fred, Karen, Luca. There's Geziert, Gert, Welsh. I want the Welsh. No Welsh. Celsia. English, Victoria. English, Sasa. Oh, let's do. I like Tessa.
This is Novel AI, the GPT-powered AI storyteller.
There we go. I could tell this went to Lucy Flawless. Okay. Yoink. Now let's have a do. Let's have the New Zealander do Finnegan's Wake.
Now be easy, good Mr. Finnemore, sir, and take your leisure like a god on pension and don't be walking abroad. Sure you'd only lose yourself in Heliopolis now the way your roads in Capilabasta are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrian and the Phibsborough and Waddling's raid and the Bowermore and wet your feet maybe with the foggy dews abroad, meeting some sick old bankrupt or the Cotterix donkey with his shoe hanging, clankata chankata, or a slut snoring with an impure infant on bench. Twold turn you against life, so twold, and the weathers that mean too. To part from Devlin is hard as Nugent knew, to leave the clean tanglesome one lushier than its neighbor in franchisable fields, but let your ghost have no grievance. You're better off, sir, where you are, primasigned in the full of your dress, blood-eagle waistcoat and all, remembering your shapes and sizes, on the pillow of your bicker under your sycamore by the Keld water where the Tories clay will scare the varmints and have all you want, pouch, gloves, flask, briquet, kerchief, ring and amberella, the whole treasure of the pyre, in the land of souls with Homin and Broin Berok and Pol Ole Lonan and Nabucket Nosler and the Genghis Khan, and we'll be coming here, the Omber players, to rake your gravel and bring you presents, won't we, Fenians? And it isn't our spittle we'll stint you of, is it, Druids? Not shaggy little imagettes, penidets and degemies you buy in the sooty stores, but offerings of the field, Leodaries, that Dr. Faherty, the Madison man, taught to good new, pot a passport out, and honey is the holiest thing ever was, hive, comb and earwax, the food for glory, mind you keep the pot or your nectar cup may yield too light, and some goat's milk, sir, like the maid used to bring you. Your fame is spreading like Basilico's ointment since the Finton Lallas piped you over border and there's whole households beyond the Bothnians and they calling names after you. The men here's always talking you sitting around on the pig's cheeks under the sacred roof tree, over the bowls of memory where every hollow holds a hallow, with a pledge till the drains, in the salmon house, and admiring to our super shillalad where the palm's wheat on high is the mark of your monument. All the toothpicks ever Iranesians chewed on are chips checked from that battery block. If you were bowed and soiled and let down itself from the wonner of the load, it was paddyplanters might pack up plenty, and when you were undone in every point for the lapse of goddesses you showed our lagolesses how to free was easy. The game old gun, they do be saying, Skull, that was a planter for you, a spicer of them all. Begog but he was, the GOG. He's Dudingen now and we're after finding the source of his sedate but peace to his great limbs, the Budhotch, with the long rest of him, while the million-candled eye of Tusker sweeps the Moylian main. There was never a warlord in Great Erin's and Bretland, no, nor in all Pike County like you, they say. No, nor a king nor an ard king, bung king, sun king or hung king, that you could fell an Ilm Street 12 urchins couldn't ring round and hoist high the stone that Liam failed. Who but a McCulloch more the reason of our fortunes and the forenamen at the funeral to compass our cause. If you was Hogglebully itself and most thrifty like you was taken waters still what all where was your like to lay the cable or who was the batter could better your grace. Mac Magnus Macaulay can take you off to the pure perfection and Letherbag Reynolds tries your shuffle and cut. But as Hopkins and Hopkins puts it, you were the pale egginagi and a kiss to Tilly up. We calls him the Janiel Buggerloffs since he went Jerusalem faring in our manner. You had a gamier cock than Pete, Jake or Martin and your archgus of geese stubbled for All Angels Day. So may the priest of 7 worms and scalding taboil, Papa Vestre, come never near you as your hair grows wheater beside the fee that's in heaven. Hep, hep, hurrah there, hero. 7 times there too we salute you. The whole bag of kits, falcon plumes and jackboots included, is where you flung them that time. Your heart is in the system of the She-Wolf and your crested head is in the Tropic of Capricorn. Your feet are in the cloister of Virgo. Your olala is in the region of Saddles. And that's as sure as you were born. Your shut-ticks swell. And that there Texas is toe linen. The lonesome roam to Lafayette is ended. Drop in your tracks, babe. Be not unrested. The head bodil witcher of the Kimpel of Izard, to Tumkamum, saith, I know thee, Methager, I know thee, salvation boat. For we have performed upon thee, thou abomination, who comest ever without being invoked, whose comes unknown, all the things which the company of the precentors and of the grammarians of Christ Patrick's ordered concerning thee in the matter of the work of thy tombing. How of the shipmen, steep wall, how of the captains, the other of the priests and of the virgins and of the chirurgeons of the 2 churches of Erin's, who hath told us of thee, inasmuch as we were not privy to thy coming, even till it was said to us, before the day. Thou didst come thither in a manner unknown to the high priest, by the hand of an angel, and they did not know how to stop thee until you had done all that was required of you, inasmuch as your going was from the east. To the west was to be a restful and peaceful passage, but a stinking rut broke out over the food in the galley. I gave myself airs and went to look for a good place on deck to sit down and catch my breath, where no one would see me and try and eat me. I found myself near the stern and looking up to where the sailcloth ran into the foremast, I saw the
Let's go to Morpho.
Now be easy, good Mr. Finnemore, sir, and take your leisure like a god on pension and don't be walking abroad. Sure you'd lose yourself in Heliopolis now the way your roads in Capilavasta are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrian and the Phibsborough and Waddling's raid and the Bowermore and wet your feet maybe with the foggy dews abroad, meeting some sick old bankrupt or the Cotterick's donkey with his shoe hanging, clankata-chankata, or a slut snoring with an impure infant on a bench. 'Twold turn you against life, oh 'twold, and the weather's that mean too. To part from Devlin is hard as Nugent knew, to leave the clean tanglesome one lushier than its neighbor in franchisable fields, but let your ghost have no grievance. You're better off, sir, where you are, primasigned in the full of your dress, blood-eagle waistcoat and all, remembering your shapes and sizes on the pillow of your barbicarals under your sycamore by the Keld water where the Tories' clay will scare the varmints and have all you want, pouch, gloves, flask, briquet, kerchief, ring and amberella, the whole treasure of the pyre, in the land of souls with Homin and Broin Berok and Pol Ole Lonnen and Nabucket Nosler and the Genghis Khan, and we'll be coming here, the Omber players, to rake your gravel and bringing you presents, won't we, Fenians? And it isn't our spittle we'll stint you of, is it?
Thank you.
Thou art not a man who has eaten me up completely out into hell. I saw then myself upon every limb, but now they have burned him completely to smiths and into iron. But now have I begun yet thy working. Because no, I'm going away from heaven into hell to receive into myself all those pieces which are put in order before him for being set down upon this plain which belongs entirely unto them. Thy name we have not found. I have found it myself according to what hath be read me from heaven while we stood by an eddy for making anchors so that we shall be taken across possible from this basin unto paradise. Our ships by now be brought thither over water as great. Now be easy, good Mr. Finnemore, sir, and take your leisure like a god on pension and don't be walking abroad. Sure you'd only lose yourself in Heliopolis now the way your roads in Capillavasta are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrian and the Phibsborough and Waddling's raid and the more and wet your feet may be with the foggy dews abroad, meeting some sick old bankrupt or the Cotterix donkey with his shoe hanging, clankata chankata, or a slut snoring with an impure infant on a bench. 'Twould turn you against life, so 'twould, and the weathers that mean too. To part from Devlin is hard as Nugent knew, to leave the clean tanglesome one lushier than its neighbour in franchisable fields, but let your ghost have no grievance. You're better off, sir, where you are, prim. Now be easy, good Mr. Finnemore, sir, and take your leisure like a god on pension and don't be walking abroad. Sure you'd only lose yourself in Heliopolis now the way your roads in Capillavasta are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrian and the Phibsborough and Waddling's raid and the Bowermore and wet your feet with the foggy dews abroad. Other two fingers would be three by weight alone, yet there was a thing at him between shoulder blades as he rose from a kneeling bow in front even below, while what came with him to it, which also he left there to take on a chair, made itself known then, had got no sight out for 5 months on a ship that never hewed but always lay a gazing with his hand up to heaven. It got him into a room. Neomphethany made it known, at which he came forward to help with her things she might keep while she got into a boat for it, like an ox bell ringing against 4 or 8 miles. Now be easy, good Mr. Finnemore, sir, and take your leisure like a god on pension and don't be walking abroad. Sure you'd only lose yourself in Heliopolis now the way your roads in Capillavasta are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrian and the Phibsborough and Waddling's raid and the Bowermore and wet your feet may be with the foggy dews abroad, meeting some sick old bankrupt or the Cotterix donkey with his shoe hanging, clankata chankata, or a slut snoring with an impure infant on a bench. 'Twould turn you against life, so 'twould, and the weather that mean too. To part from Devlin is hard as Nugent knew, to leave the clean tanglesome one lushier than its neighbour in franchisable fields, but let your go.
Thank you.
Now be easy, good Mr. Finnemore, sir, and take your leisure like a god on pension and don't be walk abroad. Sure you'd only lose yourself in Heliopolis now the way your roads in Capillavasta are that winding there after the Calvary, the Northumbrian and the Phibsborough and Waddling's raid and the Bowermore and wet your feet may be with the foggy dews abroad, meeting some sick old bankrupt or the Cotterix donkey with his shoe hanging, clankata chankata, or a slut snoring with an impure infant on a bench. old and you against life, so old, and the weathers that mean too. To part from Devlin is hard.
Thank you.
Maybe it's very top to have such doneness on itself. No more did our master say at his ascetic session, do this lest ye lose, unless men have doneness. Nary one, if indeed it even so it has been cut out of Mount Arboinian, because one way is good for nitside or one from its doneness on other nitleys, until ye are come to a narrow track called Pikes or something on high hillside or place ye know. Already know thou wast made in thundered, though yet now thou seem most in death, but there doth not seem from Pikes the on Mons, or it is naught. Them. Nevertheless I hope when my time comes they will fare us all so I should at length know this, as my work hath had need threat foam trouble, but all would now come better win him and God and save my father, which long as for his church fillen me. By this house not seeth in mine end with ease my will, as at that church I shall send him who did send me without fail unto heaven, wherefore from heap before us we ordered this by lot that should come among Ethan 2 captains both at once. But by thee shall we take thee out over Lake and Rajneer unto yonder place, whiles our boats are Phineas ye.
It's a small. All right.
Say unto come, this is good home. Our friends would make themselves more rich in his glory, as it seemed God ought his son to him thereby through thee, that shall say, I do pray my Creator unto grant as now all are appointed by him through thee. But all should not heed it, and may God defend himself, whiles my mother hereby I hear praying for mine ease. Now hear them out who pray here with me. He come we then at Thim, for to our knowledge at nay fallow by Thor many thilson miles out of thirst have metallonized that our ships sham carry, because his hand mended what shard came among now out. But one is neath thither from thyself, for that is far off yet by edged road. Here are not none there, only these yards where thou stand, which God blear. Thou mayst come also, thou be our guide till hither to go with thy power, because mine enemies have set me to prison this day, because my lord bishop did desire against mine honours, as for men here now might pervert things for fear their friends were gone, whereof ye heareth by faith these two my judges to this service who would be here, but that other my father told that might hear. Hey, will this poor boy shall cry out all by my lord diocese bishop.
Diocese.
Hear me, you here be called. There stand thorn 2 ships in Thalu before this gate without any sea hither, because their hoses hail out when they heam by this fork, with water drawn out from some one thereof, though it should not dewen, by his provi graced wheel. Because this one died meek much trouble whiles in this very sea, that there remain not this way to unto Christ, wherefore may well Christ God look on things there as by he I now know them, because say their way, God preserve.
God preserve.
Are no one out here, for God should be you a thing as soon effort, as by sooth mine enemy must seek who laughed thems fault to any hosheth my father, which no other soul besides thyself think them wise or well, for I alone now see there, nor else myself yet wouldst have told this, if none Lord but thine have given thyself as thou saidst here, with faith hath my heart heard, and so thou so here must be made one with God there in Christ our Lord. Yea, so I also now may these hands that seek us now go about it, which shall send all good thither from him by.
Just like to procrastinate.
Means wish may no good remain, sooth at in shoon unto foam, whom we shall know before we do fall within some good land, because our way we may never now go forward, except thou direstest all good to be done, upon which God give glory, who eat yet more than men who seat his children by means other theme by his will, but heareth as those becomes in this place when he took his place. This much it mattereth well, because thou speaks like one to hear they whom there should now be no manner owneth of being seen, though that ye cannot, sooth hath been said by thee through thorniness and my.
Only 2 seconds passed. So we're using the piece and
God defend thee against thems, if ye be minded thereof, as good as says will as soon etched he ere because they've put up with them, lest ye fall again. What? Dixela did be one which their behood had cause, but yet let be not. Thou coldst heard my lord youth thou in any kind, soon as they see thee in their thoughts, eho say against me with what men hear seen, but weary seeing, and say what dialogues see in them as far off who they see for themselves seeth themselves. Moreover sheafeth it thou have some far town on which she's it etch way through that part while now I know. On which are so called or they called fast, wills by reason our friends shall know who are thyself or us, from such as may hereafter see you or hear know you here we shall proceed at his pleasure without fear of none. Besides I have sent ye other helpment of this to us by one mixed in truth before us, since mine effer the new none could he have my body to earth out there on Christorchel, but none may get hurt in such time because thou can flee before there. Will whomever have laid the gile themselves on thou like thou jittimt or son designees, and these we sail.
1 new tense a minute.
Our mind whiles we go elfway into Christchurch, when their mineses have turned hither, then will he aid whatever eyes God give his glory more sooth by whatever thing God hath seen better, which eue and himself in whatsoever men do by words on land, whoso is of them know earnestly and wath them not only by sense but sight, and also erit mobis one whom now may give aid to me without despairing thee, yea because we hear these ourselves out thur soaketh and noon now saith otherwise thereof.
No, they're soaking. They are soaking.
Which saidest thou now we are going elfway from ye? Yet verily to Christchurch we should not go, to tell thy servant where he may look that the word of the holy book we cast under each her heads hena, for God when thyself was laid bare within was not found, so then may seem for any man what kind she was laid within. We would that such day should make a note as far afore as herewith thy servant shalt send thems which must hate, but with himself attain if ye wish not, for my hands is sore unto be troubled by these times, but if after thy leveth I myself shall not put ye within any other place it hath caused.
Just trying to figure out where to put it better.
No loss or bollocking of anyone to have you hereth lassade in such Latham or other like places by old hands, if ye be desiring of good soomly it ought first be to ask our Lord the Bishop wist so differeth thee thereof than any time long that has appeared at Christ Pritbird with it man from none else than our saidly Father Matereri, for whom it beholdeth the greater things more soith it behokest now in a place to the width before here that all good men both be there between many things, if you wish, as ye see them may put yours upon what our mannereth to desire of yourself. It is said there should be done for my lease that if my brethren die without being above any the men can come nowheres whereto God ought then percrete and hold against his most holile whitage because those two have sin in their generation. It's not but your boat make fast but we know all secure at Broom by land where Hodge preached at All Saints Chapel there where all halls said when men go not together because it said where once God set light a lamp within to shed forth his face it remains till you shall ask it up. God send the day.
I think that's on the Bible there.
Thou know in all day, where haddock had forever a man say well for her who's for I what you want or nay you wish is what comes, the name, one said to me, but on Bishopsgate that same was on which sat Saint Dunstan, a bishop said God, of blessed. Now you don't hear biddy there, God forbid why shouldn't we here talk in an un-British tongue like London here exclaimed Fulk's grandmother, so they chittered like birds all the way to Kent. So you'll have your fish ashore at Shaddyside, in Shadyrings Lane, you've got no right at Shrops. Horsard, said he, though Shadryling is only an old house, but over by the church ye're likely to behold that well, for there be not in town be so clean nor no such thing as a fountain by we take pleasure in a cleanliness though we're here. You ever heard a house which used all time the best man and master of its trade in this? She did not stop, not once but said to Stews, his old self all is to say no such matter ever lived, and she quarried for his life and hers, in that great white pillaged church.
Pillaged.
Did they live with you at your father the mayor? Yes, she went not even an answer for these were the two people now at supper, or there's two and two have no right being at table one without his mistress, and as they were eating dinner they came near Shorncliffe now with Shortergate beyond. The church there has an arquebus on it, in every north now in this town there'll be in them at least 12, if there was not on such other, then that be one less. On the way too, in those many great rooms are they laid down 3 chairs of honor by my wife, which I left as tenants. When they heard these ladies come from Canterbury then out comes my Lord Westcote with many more lowers there. What had I done then by force all England, in a little while? They said with every colour between them the only reason by that they found they were no tenants and when they heard him go uptown that day they followed him in the little chain goat that used to bear no man that's to say. It was the best thing at first they found now was their heads being hit for going about the whole day, though in very low-headed ships as he got nearby he made for one with such high bow they hit hard then. But he could bear some too or no it should be worse by far all day by another for that one who goes to her lord by the arco cart with bows down goes on hard times or worse unless he can ride the like thing as horses run. For all now he gets none with that but is got for a ride before you've begun that you did to get in and you're there. Here they slept, no night, no house as such before to this one to tell this to tell what follows nor what shall after end so long yet that is, not as these came up. But what's about to now comes near by another by an evening where all hall has. I shall keep away saying which.
So they thought.
Another with a cross. One side one sees Saint Krishkia on where men may read it what we read here today if not at least 2 pages about our faith made of men all which ye did know already in old story. Now where is the city at I begin but let me first of many things to ask of the lady who stands looking on what these said about men here on his horse, said the king, and he let fall his crown on those 2 peers without asking if it gave sound there, as in so small hand from such distance we go far away but our thoughts look once more over land. The place they stand upon may stand on your hands' shoulders and yet there it stood again but in small hands that went not any more than these 3 far farther over the waters but yet with every word here again we see these coming now here. into this fair green spot by the gate that may seem odd, said Sir Edmund, but then a long ways, long after, says the gentleman in yellow, he who will write of Canterbury when he will give this history, he who was called Dolphin was there then come down so short is your head I can bring her from her seat, no one dared ask or say how it stood so in these small hands.
Oh, that was a good ending.
Where men went, how many feet in deep still could hear him call on some little ones up near him still or ask or direct to make light a fire up or how one must drink cold water or make one good thing when another would begin again, that there was little noise he made no room had made between, little men sat beside men upon them all, little boys upon one another, these sat behind the big king, so long since are we away till, as is written there over yon bridge is not much else by then except from our country, in God he will put one forth at one who stands alone, in place which are built into houses as if God hath forgotten anything like this from his days past since. The flood and never mind this, then one among 25 in the world's name now, if Christ hath saved you then Christ should have saved also the church, yet these churches must each be made new all according unto size, in my hearing are made still, where are churches if they have any good wine enough there where God should give wine and let alone meat by day, by Christ let's go, as 2 streets before, of course if God should bring water out, that lead directly on their names from those houses as high a church or churchman who now hath left off seeing us as might leave behind still this one or see here now by you God forbid never so body or spirit.
So the game is revamp those churches. 25 of them.
B. That anyone can hear more, no, I remember him too, Sir Thomas More saw no better, never so fair, till Saint Wilfrid come thither before he did and made all hall by which men walk and from thence down many a stay all about God's hall in good straight ways without an aberration which had before this building made there though others of higher are, above even the top of one tower here still that stands but which you may easily look within all but not those steps where I found myself upon hearing a noise which seemed like talking while we had taken food away and my son, I said, when speaking with Dolphin who asked what ye're doing at all now is here.
Okay, that's it. That's enough. That's way too much.